When you throw items in the recycling bin, does it really matter if something that's not supposed to go in there winds up in there? Should you really spend the extra time to think about it? That's today on Earth 911 TV. The answer is yes, and the name of the game is efficiency. Think of it this way. When you put the wrong material in the wrong bin, it can literally ruin the entire batch at the recycling center. In some cases, it can shut down the plant until a repairman can fix the issue. That's because each recycling center processes different material, like glass and plastic, very differently, and they can't always catch every inconsistency before it's too late. So in order for recycling to work, once it leaves your house, it's beneficial for us to add in a little extra thought to make sure that we are making the job of the recycling center a little smoother. You know, you put paper in the blue bin, that's definitely recyclable. But be cautious of shredded paper. Turns out computer paper has long fiber. Each time that piece of paper is recycled, that fiber gets shorter and shorter and shorter. A single piece of paper can be recycled up to 8 times before that fiber is too short to hold. But when you shred that piece of paper, that fiber no longer can hold up to recycling. Having shredded paper mixed in with regular paper actually causes problems during recycling, and paper mills just won't accept it. My city accepts shredded paper in the blue bin, but it requires that it's held in a separate paper bag. Some cities require it to be in a clear plastic bag. Check with your city's rules to know for sure, or only shred if absolutely necessary. You can tear up most papers with sensitive information in 4 pieces, just shoop and shoop, and still be in the guidelines. Check with your local hauler to determine appropriate shred size and level of contamination acceptable for recycling. Bright colored paper is also an issue. They use high heat when recycling paper, and that makes a bright red piece of paper release its color, which affects the white paper around it. Think red sock and a load of whites? What happens? We recently talked about not recycling pizza boxes that have grease on them because it can contaminate the entire batch in the recycling center. Now, grease doesn't play nicely with cardboard recycling, but it's not just pizza boxes you should watch out for. Any cardboard, paper plate, or napkin that has food or grease on it, for the sake of the batch, you'll want to throw it out instead of throwing it in the blue bin. Plastic bags can't be recycled in most municipal recycling programs. It's hard to accept that because they're plastic. But these harmless plastic bags aren't so innocent when they enter the recycling process. They often wrap themselves around and in the equipment, making the entire plant shut down to dig the bag out. That's why some states have banned them altogether, and other states choose to charge the customer extra for them. But just because one party won't recycle them doesn't mean end of story. Retailers are beginning to offer recycling collection bins in stores, so first check near the front of the store and also check around for your options in your area. If you find yourself with a lot of plastic bags around the house, store them and then reuse them. Better yet, take a small step and use paper bags or reusable bags, if you have those. Plastic lids are another item you're going to want to be cautious about. They're usually made with plastic number 5 or polypropylene. Until recently, the plastics recycling industry was not able to effectively recycle bottles with caps. We were told to remove the cap. But good news, recycling collection and processing technology has improved, and demand for the recyclable material has increased. Bottles are ground into flake before being vigorously washed in the recycling process. The washed cap material is then separated from the bottle material during a water bath float sink process. The PET bottle, the PET bottle material, will sink. The PP cap material will float. Both materials are then recycled into new items. However, some cities still request that you separate them and put the caps in the trash, so be sure to check on what your rules are. Broken glass is something that always goes in the trash and should be bagged separately. Don't put that with your other glass. Not only is it dangerous to the people working at the center, it actually causes issues for them to separate the tiny broken pieces into the right color batch, which is important for the process. Well, now you know. Think a little bit before you open this bin and recycle. And we can do our small part to take those small steps to help those working at the recycling centers. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to your comments at earth911.com or on our Facebook page. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.